dumps, big, massive dumps.
This is an island surrounded by water, big water, ocean water. Trust me, I'm like a smart person. I'm very consistent. I'm a very stable genius. I had the best words. Tolerated. I know words. Mike Pounds. I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges of the investigation. But there's no better word than stupid. Anonymous, really anonymous. I'm very highly educated. One of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water. I had the best words. God bless the United States.
Welcome to the show. It's Friday, TGIF. We've got a good, well, hopefully you're all having a good day. We're having a good day. And so we got a lot of good stories to go along with this. We got Marjorie Taylor Greene being psychotic on video. Great, fun. We got Meghan McCain that really hasn't really noticed the direction that her party has gone into. She's got some words on that situation. We got a rioter that's pretty mad at Donald Trump. We got vaccines, the CDC milestone, a little bit of correction on my part for that, and then of course MAGA chuds banned from another platform. Fun times, as usual. Hey, thank you for the comments about the shirt. Appreciate that. Fun. All right, so now let's get to the back to the thing about the vaccines for a minute, or not really vaccines, but to the CDC recommendations of no longer wearing your mask indoors. I may have been a little too excited. Might have got a little bit too far, too fast. Everybody, if you're in a, especially if you're in a state, or even if you're not, that still has mask mandates, please wear those. Wear the masks. Do the social distancing still. Be courteous. You don't know who's vaccinated. You don't know who's not vaccinated. You don't know if you'll be able to give that, COVID-19 asymptomatically to other people. Yes, if you're still going to wear your mask, do so. I highly recommend that as well. Not only that, but there's something that a lot of you have brought up, and that's the fact. And it's something that I should have thought of. And so I'm kind of holding myself accountable for this. I didn't think about people who, for one, are anti-maskers and anti-vaxxers that go around pretending that they're vaccinated. How can you really tell, too, if somebody is actually vaccinated? I mean, it's not like, you're going to go around asking to, can I see your vax card, right? Your quote-unquote vaccine passport. So, yeah, you know what? Err on the side of caution. Wear your masks, social distancing, all that stuff. Please do so. Yes, I'm in a Trump area, so we continue to use a mask near them. Yes, that's a great idea. And so to protect to protect other people, yes, the vaccines work. Yes, the vaccines are amazing. But still, yeah, people will lie about it. Exactly. People will lie about that. And, you need to protect yourself as well as others from COVID. So, yeah, masks should stand for now. I'm really sorry. It was pretty irresponsible for me to actually be too excited about that, and I really should have known better. And so, this is me saying, I'm sorry. I apologize. I need to be more careful. I have a big platform, and I really need to be more cautious about that. Yes, the CDC. I was basically repeating what the CDC had said, without thinking of some of the consequences as well. People making fake vaccine cards, people lying about that, and so I really do want to be more cautious. So. All right. With that little bit of mea culpa out of the way, I got to use my platform responsibly, and so sorry about that. I will continue to try to do better in the future, and be more careful, because it is people's lives and safety that is on the line. Are you not merciful? Indeed. All right. So, anyway. Yes, kids still can't get vaccinated. My wife and I are hesitant to take our son anywhere, given anti-maskers, vaxxers can be more emboldened. It's true. Yes. So now I believe the FDA has approved 12 to 15-year-olds to get vaccinated, but younger children cannot. So please be cautious. Continue to be cautious. Continue to do all the things that will keep you and your family and others safe. And we will continue to move forward. All right. Gates associate pleads guilty to 6 counts. Yes, Joel Greenberg is now cooperating with the of course, I believe it was the courts, the feds, and will very likely testify against Matt Gaetz. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Here we go. I think the CDC is being pressured by both sides to say this is Joe Biden. The Republicans have both come out saying if you don't take a suitable job, you can't combat unemployment. Yeah, there's definitely that consideration as well, trying to force people back to work before a lot of people are protected. Again, I talk about where most of the new infections come from, and it mainly comes from people having to go back to work and not being protected. So, a lot of great points. Look, I've got the best and smartest audience on the planet. I can't get any better than y'all. So thank you so much. All right. Let's get into the stories, huh? Oh, I'm sorry. In church and let me add on super spreader events. Like, Trump rallies. MAGA rallies. No, I did not tell people to inject disinfectant. To burn the virus out from the inside. We've been looking into UV lights and disinfectant, just disinfected from the inside. No, oof. Well, we are going to talk about, by the way, Donald Trump and vaccines. So he wants credit. Fun. But anyway, let's go to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene seems to have an unhealthy obsession with Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, her colleague, weird obsession. So now lately, Greene is trying to goad AOC into a debate over the Green New Deal. Now you might think, hey, great, a debate on the Green New Deal. What's wrong with that? I mean, I want to hear both sides of the debate, right? The pros and cons. I mean, after all, if you really believe this policy is the right way to go, and it's, because it's so transformational, you would be having to debate the merits of it, right? Well, to that, I would actually say, well, yeah, as long as you're having a debate in good faith, I think debating the issues is totally fine, especially in the marketplace of ideas, right? And I think progressive policies win the marketplace of ideas. That said, from what we've seen, from a lot of these characters on the right, and I say characters for a reason, okay? They're not arguing in good faith. People like Marjorie Taylor Greene, for example, are basically trolls whose only existence is to own, whose only purpose, I should say, for their existence is to own the libs in order to raise their own profile, which is why after she tried to chase down Representative Ocasio-Cortez while screaming at her that she's a coward for not agreeing to a so-called debate, actually caused AOC to try to call for an increase in security. Very, very strange stuff. Now, you might be like, wait a minute, what makes you say that Greene is trolling and not asking for a legitimate debate? Well, it's because you've got video of Marjorie Taylor Greene harassing people. And I've showed you video before of her harassing activists like David Hogg. But now we have video from 2019 that was deleted of Marjorie Taylor Greene harassing AOC in her office. Take a look.
You want to talk to Crazy Ocasio? You come to this little thing and you open it up and you whisper into her.
Session.
This is confession. This is Ocasio confession right there.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I'm an American citizen. I pay your salary through the taxes that you collect from me through the IRS because I'm a tax-paying citizen of the United States. I'm a woman, I'm a female business owner, and I'm proud to be an American woman. And I do not support your socialist policies, and I do not support your murderous abortion policies. As a mother of 3 children, I'm appalled at New York's law for abortion, and it needs to end and it needs to stop now. You're bringing God's judgment on our country, and I'm against it, as well as my friends. So you need to stop being a baby and stop locking your door and come out and face the American citizens that you serve. If you want to be a big girl, you need to get rid of your diaper and come out and be able to talk to the American citizens instead of us having to use a flap, a little flap.
It's kind of like her. She's kind
Sad.
of flappy. She's like, she keeps flapping her gums.
Oh,
This is like,
flappy, flappy.
Yeah. Okay, well, each one of
This is like child games.
This is child.
Confession session. I'm just trying to decorate, you know?
This is her book where we sign it.
This is her signing book, and I'm just signing in.
Immature child.
Yeah. Should we draw a wall? Should we draw a wall?
Yeah,
Let's draw a wall. Is there another pen? We really want to draw a wall. So let's draw what a wall looks like, everybody. This is a wall.
All right, so let me ask you at home: is this somebody you think is going to debate in good faith over the merits of a policy? Who will entertain the arguments of a policy based on the actual merits of the policy? Who will actually make considerations, maybe changing, maybe you could change your mind or get her towards some sort of compromise based on good faith? No, I don't think so. No, she's unhinged. She's a crazy person. Now, I don't blame AOC at all for not wanting to engage with that. That's not to say that AOC is not above criticism. No, politicians above criticism, of course. But what this does is straight up trolling. And they love it. Her constituents, conservatives, they love it. I mean, I'm seeing people in the chat right now that are like, yeah, get her MTG, yeah. All right. Now, as time points out, AOC has been endlessly harassed by trolls. AOC has received so many death threats during her first 3 months in Congress that Capitol Police had to train her staff on how to do risk assessments of visitors to her office. Probably why she wouldn't open the door or engage with that. These people are not the type of people that you want to engage with. Constituents, sure. These people, crazy trolls, not at all. Fun fact, by the way, the same day that Greene pulled this crap, she also delivered a White House Gov petition to nearly 200,000 people signing it, saying that Nancy Pelosi should be impeached for treason. Now, look, I'm no fan of Nancy Pelosi. Y'all know that. I think she's bad for the Democratic Party. I actually think she's bad for the country when it comes to policy positions. She's not progressive at all. In fact, she's one of the major roadblocks for actually getting progress in this country, major progress in this country. Medicare for all, for example, she's got Medicare for all placards, in her basement, locked away, buried. Okay, and I think Pelosi needs to be primaried on her record of being incredibly conservative on many issues and not helping as many Americans. But holy shit, treason. That's a little far. Again, we're talking about the penalty for treason being death. The people who signed on to that don't want to get her fired or removed or force her retirement, which I think is way overdue. No. They want her killed. They want their political opponents to be murdered. I should also note that alongside Green, one of the people who were looking through her mail slot went on to become a Capitol rioter, a man named Anthony Aguero. So, yeah, just to show you who these people are. Imagine, by the way, if one of those rioters got a hold of AOC or Pelosi, for that matter. And look, again, I don't like Mike Pence, right? I don't like
Mike Pounds.
But imagine if one of them got a hold of Mike Pence. Remember, some of them were chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." Completely unhinged group of people. By the way, they were going after Mike Pence because they, for some reason, believed that he had the power to overturn the election by not certifying it, which is ridiculous because he doesn't actually have that power. If you understood how this actually works, how anything works in Congress, you would understand that he actually didn't have that power. And again, I'm unhinged, right? And the irony is, by the way, they said that AOC was the one acting like a child. Childish behavior. Ironic. Totally ironic. In fact, before they even went to see her office, here's what they said. Quote, we're going to go visit Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Crazy eyes, nutty Cortez. Who got the crazy eyes there? Go and watch that video and see who's got the crazy dead eyes. It ain't AOC. Total projection. Now, on Thursday, speaking of going back to Nancy Pelosi, she responded to this, saying that Green's latest verbal assault and abuse on AOC is probably a matter for the House Ethics Committee. Quote, this is beneath the dignity of a person serving in the Congress of the United States. The GOP caucus should exercise some respectable behavior. You still believe, by the way, Nancy, that we need a strong Republican Party? Because that's who they are. This is who they are. When somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Believe them. Now, that said, AOC responded to this. In fact, she was asked questions by a reporter outside the Capitol. Here's her response to this entire fiasco.
This is a woman that's deeply unwell and clearly needs some help. And her kind of fixation has lasted for several years now. It's at this point, I think, the depth of that unwellness has raised concerns for other members as well. And so, I think that this is an assessment that needs to be made by the proper professionals.
She said she wasn't going to stop debating you when asked if yesterday or challenging you in a debate.
Yeah, it's she does keep discussing this, but it's not a thing, and so I'm concerned about her perceptions of reality.
We're all concerned about her perceptions of reality. True. And look, I understand, and I get that members of Congress are supposed to disagree. Sometimes strongly, but it's supposed to be on policy. And I understand that things get heated and there are rivalries and things like that. Totally fine. That's good and that's normal in divided government. And I also think that a lot of the decorum that we have in Congress between congressional members and how they're all a little chummy, yeah, that's problematic, especially when they have such different beliefs. But there's a difference between policy disagreements and harassment. And so this, again, I have no issue with challenging politicians, and I understand that she was a private citizen at the time. But this takes it to a whole new level. I also have no problem with protesting or challenging politicians again, and outside their office. This seems like something a little bit different, a little bit more concerning. And also, by the way, now the kind of harassment that she's doing, against AOC has pretty much one design. Again, it's all about owning the libs, and also to get clicks and donations. It also riles up the base, who already at that, now had done an insurrection in the Capitol. So it really shows you how dangerous these people are. Yes, and lives are in danger. And the fact that they end up doing stuff like this is already going to make disconnected politicians even less open to people visiting their office. And so you actually have, as a result of crazy people, less access to your local politician than you had before. And so as a result of this, they're going to crack down on more protests, restrict more access to politicians, even for people who, might actually want to have a real dialogue with our politicians. So, thanks a lot, y'all. Assholes. All right. Nutty as a squirrel turd. True. All right. Moving on. Oh, AOC said she had to throw people like MTG out of her bar many times. Yes, and her response is, "Oh, you've never thrown anybody out of a bar." Sure. Insane. People are insane. All right. More on this one. The View's Meghan McCain was not happy to see the latest video of Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene harassing Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Now, reacting to a newly unearthed video from 2019, which Greene, of course, had been stalking and going to her office, and not just her office, but visiting all the members of the squad as well, their offices. McCain wrote on Twitter that this was making Republicans look bad. Oh, interesting. Here's what she said, quote, "You're behaving like an animal. Harassing AOC like this only gives Democrats what they want, which is to paint all of us like we're psychotic barbarians. Aside from the fact that this is abusive and abhorrent behavior for anyone, let alone a sitting member of Congress." You know what? It's funny. Somehow, Meghan McCain takes a situation like this and somehow makes it about herself and her party. Like, oh, I can't believe you would do this. How horrible. That makes us look bad. Oh, Jesus. Now, as far as the substance of what she says, has Meghan McCain seen her party lately? What they've been up to? What they're actually about? At least for the last 4 years, and actually much longer. Right now, you're the barbarians. You're all the barbarians. I'm just saying. And it's not just because you don't believe that healthcare is a human right. That if you don't believe healthcare is a human right, for one, you are a barbarian, which would ironically lump some Democrats in as well. But yeah, I'll take it. And that workers don't deserve living wages for working, and that trans people don't deserve gender-affirming healthcare. Those are already positions that you've had for a long time. So as far as I'm concerned, you've always been the barbarians. Always. But with Trump, of course, they ripped off the mask. They've revealed themselves to be the barbarians, and have openly embraced Trump. And so Trump, of course, has been, as I've said before, basically a mirror for the Republican Party. And basically their way of allowing themselves to be the worst versions of themselves. Okay. And they've always been like this. But again, they've basically, they're holding up this demigod to them, right? And as a result, he has a 90% approval rating among Republicans. And by the way, 70% of Republicans also believe that Biden only won as a result of voter fraud. Now, that belief, of course, fueled the Capitol riots, Capitol insurrection, which again makes y'all look like the barbarians that you are. By the way, full 55% of Republicans say that they believe the riot was started by violent left-wing protesters trying to make Trump look bad. The FBI has said that there's absolutely no evidence to support those claims. And again, the FBI is not some weird lib organization. No, the FBI has been staunchly against progressive interests in the entire country. If there was a shred of evidence that if it was Antifa or any sort of left-wing organization that was part of the riots, you don't think, I do believe that the FBI would have been all over it and been like, wow, look at all the Antifa. Yeah. So I'm just saying, not a traditionally leftist or left association. In fact, this is the same organization that tried to get MLK Jr. to off himself. And MLK Jr., of course, famously tried to organize both white and black sanitation workers, and has, of course, he's a socialist. He was a socialist, trying to start a socialist, movement, labor movement in this country, which again fights both against racism and the capital class. So I'm just saying, FBI, not your friends. Even so, the FBI is like, yeah, we just can't find any evidence of a left-wing group behind the Capitol riots. That's all MAGA. That's all the far right. But anyway, not only are Republicans the barbarians, but they don't even believe in objective reality anymore. They don't accept it. They reject it 100%. Plus, by the way, as an example of this, they canceled Liz Cheney, who was awful. And I pointed out the many reasons why Liz Cheney is horrible. But the reason that they canceled her is because she didn't back Trump. That was it. That's all it took. Not only that, but Justin Amash, same thing. He got canceled, even though he's a libertarian, free speech, constitutional conservative. Doesn't matter. You spoke out against Donald Trump. Gone. You're gone. But yet Marjorie Taylor Greene gets to go around and just do incredibly insane things. And not only that, and say insane things and believe in insane things and all that. And then, of course, you have her traveling around with child trafficker Matt Gaetz. I'm sorry, accused child trafficker Matt Gaetz. And they get to go around unpunished, still have all their committee assignment. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene does not have her committee assignments, to be fair. But Matt Gaetz does. So they're essentially unpunished for the most part, still in Congress. That said, AOC called that out. She said the fact that Kevin McCarthy, the House GOP leader, stripped Justin Amash of all committee seats for criticizing Trump, but it's worked to protect this person from consequences, including pretending he doesn't see it, tells you that this is happening with the support of GOP leadership. So, sorry, Meghan. It ain't the Democrats that are painting Meghan McCain out to be, as well as the Republican Party, as barbarians. You're doing it to yourself. Congratulations. You played yourself. Either she is so disconnected from what the Republican base actually believes, and I don't believe that at all, or, it's so embarrassing to her and it affects her so much that she can't take it. She can't handle it. Either way, I think that she needs to accept that this is who they are. And by the way, it's who they've always been. Again, hey, do you know who her father is? The late Senator John McCain. I don't know if you knew that. Now, John McCain got himself into a little bit of trouble as well for, saying some pretty awful things about Asian people. In fact, back in 2000, McCain used an anti-Asian slur on his campaign trail. He said, "I hate the G word." And again, that is a slur for people of Asian descent. She says, "I will hate them as long as I live." Now later on, he's like, "Well, I only meant that for my Vietnamese captors." But in reality, that word is essentially the N word, but towards Asian people, and has a pretty effed up history of being used as a blanket slur towards Asian people. And guess what? Republicans defended that. Meghan McCain herself said nothing about that. And McCain himself, when he was still alive, was like, "No, I'm not going to apologize for that. No, I hate them. I really do. I hate them." And again, he uses that slur. So now the point of that little history lesson was the fact that the party is and has always been pretty awful. And they have been barbarians. The only difference is now some people aren't letting them get away with it anymore. It's a culture shift. That's all. All right. I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We've got more stories, so don't worry. Stay around. We got the rioter, just going ham on Donald Trump. We got MAGA chuds getting mad about getting kicked off another platform. And then Donald Trump, should he get some credit for the vaccines? Will he get the cookie? We'll see. We'll see. Around the nation.
Who's got a hammer?
There's insanity in the control room.
Why? You're getting nervous, man.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Around the nation right here. Waldorf Nation, Jeff Waldorf here with you. I just wanted to thank Lulu Girl for the incredibly kind $3. Really appreciate that. If you want to help the show, you can do super chat, or you can, do all the different stuff on Twitch, bits, and and give away some subbies, all that stuff. Or you can go to our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/Jeff Wallner. Help us out. Really, could always use your help. Keep the show going. All right, so let's go to the next story here real quick. We got a rioter that's a little angry. Big mad. A member of the Proud Boys who was arrested for taking part in the January 6th Capitol riot angrily lashed out at the former President Donald Trump, after he realized that he would not get a pardon. So now Politico's Kyle Cheney reports that federal prosecutors this week revealed messages sent by a Proud Boy named Ethan Nordine on January 20th after he watched Trump leave office without delivering a blanket pardon to all those who rioted on his behalf weeks earlier. Here's what he wrote in a social media message. F Trump. F him more than Biden. I've followed this guy for 4 years, and I've given everything and lost it all. Aw. How sad. I have here in my little hand, well, not so little as Trump, the world's tiniest little violin. I shall now play this violin for you, Mr. Man. Nope. I think I crushed it. Just like your hopes and dreams. Sad. Baby. Now, what's even sadder about the situation is that these people believed in a con man, a liar, a snake oil salesman. And they put their health, their body, their money, their lives on the line for this guy. For this guy. The New York alleged billionaire elitist. That guy. Yeah. I know. Racism is a hell of a drug, isn't it? That's what this is. After all, that's what Donald Trump ran on. Build a wall between us and Mexico. Over police the black people, and that all this stuff about the wall, super, super obvious. And then, of course, making America great again. Gee, I wonder what happened in the last 8 years before President Trump took office in their minds to make America not great. I wonder if it has to do with 8 years of a black man being in office. Or that the fact that our society, our government is becoming more diverse, and that you can't say the N-word out and open without any sort of consequences anymore. Weird. Maybe that could be the issue here. Now, Nordine also expressed disillusionment because he believed that the United States was really on the precipice of what he called some great justice, only to see it dashed after watching Trump leave office in disgrace. Justice. Some great justice. Gee, I wonder what that is. Oh, it's QAnon stuff. That's wanting Biden to be arrested by the FBI or something for allegedly being a Democrat cannibal pedophile or something. I don't know. Again, that's QAnon stuff. That's what a lot of them believed. And they believed that this January 20th, no, this time they're going to arrest Biden or the Biden body double. And then we're going to reinstall Donald Trump. And then he's going to rule over us forever or something. Weird stuff. In reality, of course, none of that was going to happen. And none of it did. Trump's always been a criminal grifter. He's also the epitome, by the way, of white privilege. I know. Some conservatives, they always laugh when it comes to white privilege. This guy failed his way to the top, despite being an incredible moron, an absolute intellectual lightweight. The only reason that he was at all successful is because his dad had money. That's it. And not only that, but he was also had absolutely no conscience. And so was a complete asshole to his family, screwing people over in order to get the estate, essentially. I mean, he's also got a record of, well, all right. So the other way that he's made money, by the way, other than inheriting it, is just taking out loans and not paying them back from people giving him money. He's also set up obvious scams and then ran away with the cash. That's why he and his kids cannot operate a charity in New York anymore. And so they've had absolutely no responsibility. They screwed over the Freedom Girls. Remember the Freedom Girls? Didn't pay them either. Didn't pay a lot of the cities for the rallies, for the security. Born scam artist. That was your hero. Which, by the way, I guess somehow defrauding taxes and defrauding the government and all that stuff, and as well as banks in order to get cash, that somehow makes you a super genius. No, it makes you a criminal. By the way, that leads me to this. Here's what this guy said. So glad he was able to pardon a bunch of degenerates as his last move and shit on us on the way out. Fuck you, Trump. You left us in the battlefield, bloody and alone. I got news for you. Donald Trump never been on the battlefield. Literal or figuratively. Okay? He avoided Vietnam pretty famously, not for the right reasons. Again, because there are actual legitimate reasons to be against the war in Vietnam. Muhammad Ali, for example, he went to prison for his beliefs. That man's a hero. Donald Trump's just a coward. Now, he also pardoned people like Steve Bannon, by the way, the degenerates, okay, who stole money from people for this so-called Build the Wall campaign that Steve Bannon and Brian Colfage ended up actually using on themselves, and were going to go to prison for it. He pardoned them, well, Bannon anyway, because Bannon still had some use to him. And also because they're the same. They're the same. I feel kind of sad for this guy, to be honest with you. And I do so because I'm a pretty empathetic person. I feel for people. And I see so many people falling for obvious bullshit that you could see from a mile away. And it makes me feel sad. It really does make me feel bad. Like, how do you not know you're getting taken for a ride? How can you not see the obvious scam that is sitting right in front of you? How did you not see that? But at the same time, I don't feel bad because you didn't see it, despite people warning you that this is what he's going, that this person is going to take advantage of you. This is what he's going to do. This is what they do. He's a demagogue, a grifter, a charlatan, doesn't even actually believe the things that he's saying, and is only pandering to you for your vote and your money. That's it. How they never saw that. How they never saw that. I don't understand. How many still do not see that? 90% approval in the Republican Party. They are the party of Donald Trump. I will never understand how they don't see this. Never. But then again, when it comes down to it, cultists gonna cult. Just hope it doesn't turn out like Jonestown. Let's see. No, he never left. President Trump is still president. Military's in charge. You're disgraced. Now the hell did you ever get on a chat? You're such a liar. Wow. That is fucking hilarious. That is funny. If that's a troll, like if that's ironic, if that's like that's fucking hilarious. Okay, it's hilarious both ways. Because for one, if it's real, delusional as fuck. All right. I mean, crazy stuff. Okay. And if it's fake, excellent troll. Excellent troll. Wow. Wow. All right. So let's see. It's one credit here, or one comment here that I wanted to see. Apparently there was a chat room or YouTube chat or something like that. 19,000 viewers. Oh, Jesus. So many crazy people. So many people that they want to be pandered to in some insane false reality that just doesn't exist. And of course, they're the ones that are like, no, you live in the false reality. No, you. No, you're the sheep. You're the cultist. Don't even live in the same reality. How can anybody have a conversation with somebody who doesn't believe in objective truth, objective reality? I mean, it's insane. Insane. Wow. Oof. Just, I don't understand it. And I don't know. Cultists gonna call. No, you're the snowflake. You're the sheep. No, you're the sheep. Oh my God. All right. Moving on. Let's go to vaccines. No, that was on YouTube. That was a YouTube comment. All right. Former President Donald Trump is big mad that he's not getting a lot of credit. Now, in his blog, which is great, Donald Trump claims that his administration, through Operation Warp Speed, came up with the vaccine years ahead of schedule, but said that it was incredible that our names are not even mentioned in what everybody's calling the modern day miracle of the vaccines. Damn, from that comment, you would think that Donald Trump was sitting right alongside the scientists, holding test tubes and doing all the stuff that you're going to do, working on it. Holy crap. Not even close. Not even close. He said, without the vaccines, this world would have been in for another 1917 Spanish flu, where up to 100 million people died. Because of the vaccines we pushed and developed in record time, nothing like that will be even close to happening. Fun. Ridiculous. Now, wait a minute here. I thought according to Trump, COVID-19 wasn't a big deal. 99% survival rate. That's what I hear from conservatives all the time. When you argue against, or when you argue in favor for mask mandates and against, doing massive super spreader events. 99%. 99% survival rate. We need the economy. We'll open the economy right now. Cure cannot be worse than a disease. It's funny because I have a lot of statements here from Trump when he was president downplaying the virus. This was prior to vaccines being available, by the way. February 27th, 2020. He said this. It's going to disappear one day. It's like a miracle. It would disappear. And from our shores, it could get worse before it gets better. It could maybe go away. We'll see what happens. Nobody really knows. I mean, just complete contradictory nonsense. More. It's from July 19th, 2020. Many of these cases are young people that would heal in a day. They have the sniffles, and we put it down as a test. Many of those sick are going to get better very, very quickly. September 21st, 2020, during a speech in Ohio, Trump claimed without evidence that the coronavirus, quote, affects virtually nobody. It affects elderly people with heart problems. If they have other problems, that's what it really affects. That's it. In some states, thousands of people, nobody young, below the age of 18, like nobody. They have a strong immune system. Who knows? A lot of the people who had gotten sick with coronavirus and some of the latest, actually the latest spike, was younger people. And that's because we had vaccinated the majority of older people. And so now what was left is getting younger people vaccinated, who were the people that were in the hospital the most. So, but he says, take your hat off to the young because they have a hell of an immune system. It affects virtually nobody. It's an amazing thing. By the way, open your schools. This guy spent over a year openly downplaying the virus, which, by the way, killed over 500,000 American citizens. Had we followed Donald Trump's advice and opened up the country completely, sacrificed grandma to the stonks, even with a 2% fatality rate, you would have had roughly 6.6 million Americans die from COVID. That's, of course, if you have 100% of Americans infected, which, God forbid, right? God forbid. Thankfully, because of the partial lockdowns, which he opposed, masks, which he wasn't in favor of, social distancing, we did not get to that horrible number. But hey, I guess you could say then he now realized that this was quite a serious virus. Well, I guess, I agree. It is pretty serious. Yes. Now, he went on to say, or beg, I should say, please give me some attention. Just a mention, please. The Biden administration had zero to do with it. All they did was continue our plan of distribution, which was working well right from the beginning. Alternative reality. And by the way, it's really funny to hear him beg for just a crumb of like, oh, please, just give me just a tiny little crumb of credit. Can I have just a tiny little crumb of credit, please? Please, I'm dying over here. And by the way, it was not working right from the beginning. Distribution was fucked. That said, does the Trump administration get some credit for Operation Warp Speed? Well, I mean, let's look at the facts, right? So Operation Warp Speed basically took taxpayer money and funded the research into mRNA, which had been, mRNA vaccine specifically, which had been around for quite some time. But the studies have languished on that per lack of funding. Coronavirus comes around. They start saying, oh, hey, we got this possibility that this mRNA could work. Please fund us. And that's what the Trump administration did. And so I guess your administration funded it, and that's your credit. There you go. Distribution under Trump was terrible. Plus, you had a lot of Republicans, and still have a lot of Republicans, that are spreading anti-vax conspiracies and anti-mask conspiracies. And so that doesn't help. What is an interesting twist, and I'll take it, which is, it's still really funny. Now you've got anti-maskers that are like, we're so anti-vax, we're going to put on a mask to protect us from the vaccinated. What the? Oh my God. So anyway, to say that Biden, when he took over, did absolutely nothing. No, that's a lie. The Biden administration picked up where the Trump administration failed the most, and that was the distribution of the vaccines. So the Biden administration took over. At the time, in January, the U.S. was only administering about 1 million vaccines to adults each day, and the pace had since massively picked up since then. The Biden administration had built on that and corrected a lot of the errors on the Trump administration's program, vaccine program, ordering more doses, increasing the number of vaccination locations, and of course, invoking the Defense Production Act in order to ramp up production on the vaccines. They also apparently had a partnership after Johnson & Johnson was approved by the FDA to pair Johnson & Johnson and Merck in order to increase doses of the vaccine. So I'm sorry, but no, you don't get any credit. You bungled this for over a year. Sorry. Biden is correct that the Trump administration had no real plan to vaccinate much of the country, and that Trump had failed to order enough vaccines, and also failed to mobilize the effort to administer the shots, failed to set up vaccine centers. Also, he minimized the virus, ignored public health advice, and held large campaign rallies or super spreader events during the campaign. Barely even wore a face mask in public. And by the way, when he did get his vaccination, he kept it on the down low. So yeah, no credit. I mean, I was generous to even consider giving him a crumb of credit for Operation Warp Speed happening under his watch. It only happened under his administration, despite him doing, by the way, everything that he could to undermine his own efforts. So no, in the words of Anna Kasparian, no cookie for you. No cookie for you. No credit. Fuck off. Go blog about something else, you narcissistic shitlord. Am I clear enough? Yeah. I think so. Okay. One more quick story. No cookie for Trump. No cookie. I think Anna would be proud of that segment for the no cookies, but plenty of cheeseburgers. Okay. Members of the far right are running out of platforms in which to spew some of their hate speech. Recently, white nationalist Nicholas Fuentes and anti-Muslim activist Laura Loomer got kicked off of Clubhouse. Never heard of that before. So for those of you unfamiliar with the app, because I looked into it, that's where users can engage with each other in real time about topics in different virtual audio chat rooms. Okay. Now, the New York Times describes it as a social networking app that lets people gather in audio chat rooms to discuss various topics, whether it's sports, wellness, art, or why Bitcoin is heading to $87,000. Bitcoin. Fun. Rooms are usually divided into two groups, those who are talking, those who are listening. Unlike Twitter, Clubhouse is a closed hierarchical platform, which no doubt they love, where a moderator could oversee discussions and have the ability to let someone chime in or to kick out the unruly. In addition to the clubs sorted by topic, two or more users can join together and start their own chat room. Oh, so you could see, of course, how this could devolve. But to be fair, any other platform could easily devolve in in a similar fashion. Now, on this one particularly, well, this got bad for Laura Loomer. In fact, last Saturday, Loomer signed up for the platform and joined a room entitled App Store Hate Speech Double Standard, Parler versus Clubhouse, moderated by Chris Ruby. So now, look, you could have a very interesting discussion on double standards. Yeah, there are double standards. Big accounts on social media sites happen to get more of a, like the blue checks, get treated a little bit better than the rest of us. And there are, of course, issues with some people who violate TOS being punished versus others who violate the same TOS not getting punished. And so there are certain issues. So you could have a good, interesting conversation about that and about, censorship in general. But that's not the direction where this went. No. Loomer, as the article in Vice points out, the room quickly descended into chaos, with Loomer going on an anti-Muslim rant and immediately breaking TOS. She said, quote, as a Jewish woman who was physically ejected from a moving Uber by a radical Muslim driver on Rosh Hashanah of all times, I value my safety. I'm pro-life. And I don't think I should have to be roadkill because Uber does not do background checks on their drivers. Oh, scary Muslims. Scary Muslims. Now, don't you love, by the way, she immediately starts that out with idpol. Republican idpol. They will always use it, and they will always complain about it. They complain when other people use it, but then use it themselves. They have no shame. Absolutely no shame. But her rendition of the story, from what I could tell, not exactly accurate. So now she claims she was thrown out of a moving Uber. I can find no credible evidence of that actually happening. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe there's an article out there from a credible source. Maybe it's a video her getting actually physically thrown out of the car by a scary Muslim. So I don't believe her because she's a liar. Not exactly telling the truth in a lot of circumstances, but here's what she said. Here's what happened in 2017 in reality. Loomer was booted from both Uber and Lyft over posting anti-Muslim slurs aimed at drivers for both ride-sharing services. She said, someone needs to create a non-Islamic form of Uber or Lyft because I never want to support another Islamic immigrant driver. She said that she was late to a New York Police Department press conference because she was unable to find an Uber that was not driven by someone who did not look like they were Muslim. Again, I can find no credible reports. Hey, if there's an actual real report, if there's actual real evidence that she was thrown out of the car, that's abhorrent. That's terrible. Like, at least stop the car before you tell someone to get out. Okay? And it goes back to the whole, people, wearing the masks attacking I believe it was either a Muslim or an Indian driver in a video that I showed you that went viral a few weeks ago. Or however long ago that was. But from what I could tell, I don't think she's being honest about what actually happened. So now Loomer was permanently suspended after that from Uber and Lyft, as I said, because of her very honest hatred of Muslims. So now, that said, she went on a similar anti-Muslim rant in Clubhouse and was banned for violating the platform's anti-violence policy. So now, responding to the ban, Loomer wrote this on Telegram. I followed all the rules and simply had a conversation about censorship. Less than 12 hours later, it's 7 a.m. EST, and I'm banned from Clubhouse for what they're calling a violation of their anti-violence policy. Incredible. Yes, incredible. You see that, though? Here's what she said. Clubhouse banned me based on accusations that I was violent, even though I was only on the app for 5 hours. Clubhouse needs to be investigated and shut down for aiding and abetting Islamic terrorists. You see that right there? You see that right there, okay? She's like, I'm against censorship. We should shut this company down because Muslims. That's the shit that gets you banned. I'm just saying. Not only that, but our good old friend Nick Fuentes also joined the app to get unceremoniously kicked out almost immediately. During his Clubhouse call, Fuentes, along with other members of the so-called Rioter army, had mocked the killing of George Floyd and even went after a Republican Madison Cawthorn for being disabled. So, yeah, you got some ableist shit going on there as well. Madison Cawthorn is an awful person, by the way. His policies are abhorrent, but you don't make fun of a man's disability. I'm just saying. That's not cool. It's incredibly low, actually. But here's what Fuentes said on the call. Quote, we can be a little racist. We can be a little sexist. And it goes on to talk about how that could be advantageous for, quote unquote, protecting white people. Yeah. Sure. And by the way, you can be those things, but just not on Clubhouse or Twitter or YouTube or any of these private platforms who enforce their TOS. Because they have these little things called a TOS, a terms of service. That's what it means. Where you go and you know, the thing that you normally scroll through real fast and just click OK and I accept. Yeah, it turns out in there you can't say certain things, harass people, dox people, do stuff like that. You can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. Funny how they, get kicked out for that. And what's funny is that you've got a lot of these so-called free speech platforms. And you may notice that they tend to fill up with Nazis pretty fast. And not necessarily because they're catering to Nazis or created to host Nazis, but generally, if you say you're a free speech platform, they're going to be like, yes, I can say the N-word. That's what I want to do. That's all we really want to do. Yeah. Well, that's not good. Because they go on these platforms and they say Nazi shit, and then they do Nazi shit. And then, then they cry when they get kicked off for breaking TOS, because the TOS says, we don't want Nazi shit on our platform. Not good. Now, I actually agree with that, because it turns out that we don't need to be intolerant. We don't need to be tolerant of other people's intolerance. I am not tolerant of intolerance. We should be intolerant towards intolerance. True. We should be. We are not required by the Constitution. Companies are not required by the Constitution to give Nazis a platform, or white nationalists, or alt-right, or whatever they want to call themselves these days. Racist, sexist. They're not required to have a platform. I mean, it's not a free speech or a First Amendment issue. It's basically what these platforms are, is that you give somebody a bullhorn and a box to stand on, and they can say whatever. Well, all this is taking away the bullhorn and the box. That's it. The government has not come in and silenced you, taken away your free speech. Now, you can have an argument, and you can talk about big tech, and I'm using their terminology on this one. Companies, social media companies like Facebook, Twitter, etc., having a very outsized influence in society, society, where, you can reach a lot of people potentially, and you can use that for, political movements and things like that, and how it is important to be able to have, a certain speech that some people might find uncomfortable. But again, that speech that some people might find uncomfortable, I don't think includes hate speech, straight up, calling people the N-word and etc. And so even under that situation, what people like Bloomer and Fuentes, talk about shouldn't be allowed. And they have more than enough right under their own rules and under the Constitution to be able to restrict those people from posting on those platforms. So that's just me. And by the way, even not being on these platforms, you can still sit out in the street and yell out the N-word if you want to, but that still doesn't mean that you won't face any consequences for doing that. And that's just how it's supposed to work. All right. So, that's all I got today. Thank you for going around the nation me today. I love when they talk about the tolerant left. Tolerating bigotry is not part of the deal. True. Very, very true. Caitlin Bennett tweeted about enjoying her own WAP, white ass privilege. Well, at least she realizes she got it. One of those things. Let's see. Majority report clip ban Laura Loomer handcuffs herself to Twitter HQ. Oh, jeez. Wow. That's some shit. All right. Anyway. Yep. We will be back on Monday. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. As always, mask up, socially distance. Take care of yourselves and your neighbors and your friends, your family, and all that, and your communities. And we will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Love you all. And remember, change begins with you. Good night, nation. We'll see you on Monday. At 4 p.m. Eastern, by the way, for those of you asking.
Slim Sharp, NATO, etc.
I have not loved this conversation.
dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Mike Pounds.
There's insanity in the control room.
Wet ass keyword.
Please clap.
Don't you want to please me?
You're kicking me out the door. You're kicking me out the door.